Hello guys, Creator438 here, and today I've got a different kind of video for you. Today I'm going to be going over a deck profile, and you guys are probably thinking, holy shit, this is going to be another one of those long ass videos. Well, I'm going to try and keep it short. Can't guarantee that'll be short, but it's going to be one of those long ass deck profiles, like my other water deck where I showed you a shitty ass deck. Well, not so much this time. At least the deck I'm going to show you is not as bad. Today I got a complete Mermail deck that I've built and I've tested for a while. I haven't really been testing it much as of recent, but you know, I think it well, I'm going to my local with it, and there's going to be some stuff I'm explaining in the video. So yeah, there might be some stuff that some of you disagree with, but I have reasons for that. So I think let's get to the deck. So without further ado, let's get to the deck profile. So for the let's start with the monsters. One Mermail Abyss lead. Yeah, I know he's not really run much in Mermails now. He kind of sucks, but I mean, it's really kind of too late now because I'm going to my local like in 8 days, so 8 days in this recording date, so yeah. But I mean, he's not too bad if you get him out and everything, cause you know he's a big beater. You can tribute another Mermail and make your opponent send a card in their hand to the graveyard. Shouldn't be pretty powerful. So, you know, people may argue it's not the best Mermail, and I will agree with that, but, you know, it was a different time when I made this deck. Anyway, two Abyss Megalos. Sorry, I haven't really done this before. And, you know, that's the standard number of Megalos that you run a Mermail deck. And obviously, Megalos, a wild card, Mermails, you discard like you discard like he can set up some pretty good combos. You know, you discard like two Atlanteans or something, you special on him, you search an Abyss spell and trap, and you get to pop opponent's cards. And you guys are gonna say I'm stupid for this, but I have a reason. Two Abyss Tias. I know you're supposed to run 3, but here's the thing. I don't know if I should explain that later, but like, I need space for other cards, which I'll get into. So, but I would run 3. Maybe if I had a little more time, I would have not had a lead and put in another Tias. Maybe if Mermails don't get hit next format, which I'm not really, which I was thinking earlier this format that maybe they would because they were like tier 1 and everything, but apparently according to Pojo they've been bumped down to tier 3. I think some people might be disagreeing with this, but I don't know, they haven't seen much play. I mean, on Dueling Network they haven't. But yeah, 2 TS for reasons. But you know, you need TS because you discard a water monster, special on him. Like you discard an Atlantean, you get a pop card, and you get to search a Mermail. You know, standard Mermail stuff. You know. And then, jeez, man, I'm so bad at this. 3 Abyss Pikes. He's your standard level 4 guy. You know. You can do combos with him with like Linde and stuff, or like you special summon him at the damage step, and then you discard a water monster like an infantry or something. You get to like search Gunday or something, and you pop an opponent's face up monster, which is a pretty good combo. So yeah. One Abyss Turge, I know he's not really I don't know if he's really that good in Mermails. I mean, well, obviously, forget that. Um, I don't know if he's really run that much anymore, especially because I don't see Mermails played all that much. I didn't run him on my deck on DN, on my other account, and yes, I do have another account. But yeah, I put him in because originally this deck revolved around like Atlanteans because it was stupid. So I thought, oh, I should use this guy because inevitably I can recycle my Atlanteans and Deep Sea Diva. Don't worry, I don't run that crap in Mermails anymore. I've realized a long time ago that shit's terrible in Mermails. Honestly, Diva is terrible in Mermails. I'll fight anyone who says otherwise. No, not really. But yeah, Diva's terrible in Mermails, and you want to make the switch to Undyne and Controller if you can. Then obviously 3 Lindays. You need 3 Lindays because you got to special summon. You got to special summon all the ranks, all the level 7s. For your rank 7 plays, you also use it for Abyss Pike and so on. 1 Gunday, cause she's at 1. You can do some shenanigans. She lets you do some shenanigans. You discard like you discard like Megalo with Tias or something. You special summon him. You search Abyss Pike, and then you discard Gunday, search like an Atlantean or something, or vice versa. And depending on which one you did, if you discard Gunday, you get a rank 7 play, and if you discard like a marksman or something, or an infantry, you get to pop a card. So yeah, 1 title, because you gotta make your rank 7 plays. And honestly, a 2600 beater that can be special summoned each turn, just by banishing 2 of your water monsters for rank 7 plays too. Pretty good, man. Definitely recommended in Mermails. I mean, why wouldn't you run it in Mermails? It's an obvious choice. Anyway, 1 Dragoons, because it's at 1. And, well, obviously, but you need it to, you can use it to, he's great, because, you can search, you get to search Megalo, you get to search your, Atlanteans. If you're not running Tias, Megalo, and your Atlanteans are really your only search options for this guy, which is kind of unfortunate. But, that's okay. I mean, you probably want to search Megalo most of the time anyway. I mean, I guess, I don't know. It depends on what the field's looking, what the board's looking like, I guess. Cause if you're not drawing into any of your Atlanteans at all, that's probably a bad sign. You want to discard Dragoons as fast as possible, or get them into the graveyard to activate a water monster's effect, so that you can get off a search and search one of your Atlanteans. 2 Marksman, you gotta destroy those face down cards. And a wise man once said, you gotta counter the troll decks. But yeah, anyway, you obviously run Marksman because, you gotta pop those face down cards. And that's really all I can say about that. 1 Heavy Infantry, you gotta pop those face up cards, but the thing is, running 2 is a little cloggy, which I actually took the liberty. Back when I ran Diva, I ran 2 of him and Diva, and I found out that Genix Undyne here was much better, along with Genix Controller. And I was like, wait a minute, what the hell am I doing running Diva in this deck? And I'm like, okay, so I should take out heavy infantry and Diva, in which I inevitably replaced for Ganax Undyne and Ganax Controller. Ganax Controller I don't really have to go over, but Ganax Undyne, it's vital in this deck because, you need to send your waters from the deck to the graveyard. It's good for, like, getting title in the graveyard if you need to. Or better yet, you can like, send a marksman or an infantry, and you get to search a tuner, which you can then tune for your synchros, which is really great. And Ganax Controller, of course, lets you do all the synchro summoning madness. And that's all the monsters. Well, 22 of them, I believe. Actually, I think it's 20. Yeah, let me count that. Who cares? Anyway, let's just go on to the spells. 1 salvage. I used to run 2, but I bumped it down to 1 because I had to fit in an effect negation, which we'll get into later. 1 dark hole. I know people say it's bad, this format, but you know what? Screw that, man. I like destroying all monsters on the field for free, for no cost and no nothing. And honestly, I don't care what you say, man. I mean, this dark hole has saved me a couple times. I mean, I won't doubt that. It could save you in the right position. And now here's where it starts getting a little weird. The next card I slap down, you're going to be like, what the hell is this guy thinking? 1 Heavy Storm. Now you might be thinking, why am I running 1 Heavy Storm and 1 Reborn and 1 Pot of Greed? Well, I think it's time that I explain this right now. See, the local I'm going to has 2 different challenge options. You can play either a casual format or a more competitive format, which follows the normal ban list, and the casual format is more relaxed. It doesn't restrict certain cards like Pot of Greed, Dark Hole, and not Dark Hole. Dark Hole's at 1. It doesn't restrict cards like Pot of Greed, Reborn, or Heavy, or Solemn Judgment, because they just wanted to limit like the old ass OTK stuff. I don't know why Heavy Storm's still on that ban list, but because it's an OTK enabler by a long shot. But I'm not complaining. If it's free back road destruction, I'm gonna run it. I mean, Raigeki's also not on that list, but I didn't want to put that in because I didn't want to put in too many Saki cards. I took that out for something. I don't remember what it was, but I did. Okay, anyway. Well, I don't really have to go into these ones. I mean, Reborn, you get an SS from you get an SS, jeez. You get a free monster from either of those graveyard. Pot of Greed, free +1, makes Mermails hell more consistent. And frankly, I think this really does make up for the lack of another Tias. Some of you might disagree with me on that, but what can you do? And then 3 MSTs. Some people should say, like, no, you should main 2 inside 1. Look, motherfuckers, I hate doing that. I'm not gonna do that. But I don't normally like siding MST. Actually, I don't really like it at all. But I decided I did it like once with my hieratic ruler deck back from earlier this format. It's gonna be, I feel like I'm gonna really need it, the 3 MSCs, because, it's gonna be a different format, it's gonna be, we're talking like 2012 decks here, man. I mean, we're talking like Dark Worlds, TGs, 6-Ams, that's the kind of stuff I'm gonna be seeing at this local, so yeah, I'm saying were, like you're coming along with me. Unfortunately, you're not. But anyway, yeah. Also, look at that 6 secret rareness from the Yugi's World MST that I pulled. That is the same MST I pulled in Yugi. Okay, anyway, we're gonna get on to the traps here. 2 Phoenix Chain. I know people say Breakthrough is better, but you know what? It's too late to make the switch. And frankly, I don't think people are going to be running artifacts at this place, considering the fact that, you know, Sanctum is like damn near $50 or something. Ignition is, I don't even remember what price. I think it's like $30. You know, Morale Tech and Beagle Tech, I think. I like to call them Bagel Tech because, you know, like the same Brooklyn came out. Yeah, I really don't think I'm going to be seeing artifacts of this place. And if I do, it's real. I mean, like, Phoenix Chain counters many decks, but Breakthrough really only counters one. I like Phoenix Chain just for the matter that, like, it stops opponents from attacking. And I know people might disagree with me on this, but you gotta keep in mind, I'm going to be facing, like, I'm probably going to be facing decks that aren't as meta-ness. Okay, anyway, just moving on. You get the idea, I think. So, 3 Abyss Sphere, because it's vital. You gotta run 3 Abyss Sphere and Mermails. I mean, if you're not running if you're running like 1 or 2 in your Mermail deck, put in the extra 1 or 2 depending on how many you run, because this card, it's like basically the key card of Mermail. As you special summon a Mermail monster from your deck, it's a trap card, so your opponent tries an MST, you say booch, and you chain the thing. You chain, like say they target your Abyss Sphere or something. You chain the thing, you special summon Linde, and then as Chain Link 1 MST will resolve, and then I'll pop your Abyss Sphere, and then thus in the process Linde will also get popped, and then she will special summon a Mermail monster from the deck. So yeah, that's really good. And it's also good because like you get out free Megalo, free TS, all that good stuff. Don't try to do this with Abyss Pike though, unless you're going for a rank 4. Because this card negates those monsters' effects. Wait, did I say TS earlier? Because I meant lead. You don't, no, you can't summon a Abyss TS with Abyss Sphere. That just doesn't work, because you're trying to go for it in defense mode, it'll just die during your opponent's next end phase anyway, so it doesn't matter, because Abyss Sphere will be destroyed during your opponent's next end phase. And whenever Abyss Sphere leaves the field, obviously, the monster it's special summoned will also be destroyed. Which is why I mentioned the Linde combo. Anyway, moving on. 2 Mirror Force. Now, I know people will probably be saying, Creator, you're probably better than this. Why the fuck aren't those like D prisons or something? Well, honestly, I would put in D prisons if I had the space, but I don't. I like D prison. I won't deny the fact that D prison is good. And I know people say Mirror Force is shit this one. It's really not, though. I mean, well, I don't know, because like Mirror Force is always one of those cards that like people say is like now. Mirror Force is always one of those cards that like people say is bad, but like it can still be really helpful. And I don't know, man. I guess I can't describe it, but I'm trying to think of a compelling argument as to why I'm running Mirror Force. It's falling out of my head. Anyway, forget it. Moving on. I don't need a compelling argument for everything, I guess. One compulsory, obviously, you need to bounce monsters. So, yeah. One bottomless, I mean, you gotta banish a monster that was summoned with 1500 or more attack, because that can be really powerful. And, yeah, you know, this card counters fucking everything, man. It counters fucking... Like, this card fucks Fire Kings, I think. Yeah, cause Yaksha, you know, you banish him. I'm just thinking of Fire Kings as an example because I saw a Fire King player at my local. So, yeah, I'm just using that as an example. I know they're not necessarily like popular decks as of right now, but you know, one torrential tribute, you gotta nuke the field of monsters that could be harmful. One solemn warning, you gotta negate those inherent summons or effects that summon monsters when they would resolve. I really wish this card would get a reprint, by the way. I mean, it can't say an effect that includes an effect that special summons the monsters, because that would confuse you. It would have to say, like, an effect when this effect is activated that would special summon a monster when it resolves. I don't know if, like, that would change it or anything. They could probably change the text and still get away with it. I don't know. Anyway, and finally, one solemn judgment. Because, you know, like I mentioned earlier, this is a different format I'm attending. They're gonna be running there's gonna be like heavy, there's gonna be all that bullshit. You know, you gotta fuck them heavies, man. And you gotta stop those annoying summons, you know. Also, I don't run Soul Charge if you haven't noticed. I'm aware of that. But you know what? I can't. Honestly, there's not enough time for me to get one. I have to go this thing like 8 days. So, yeah. And you know, one may argue that, like, I could probably get 2 Soul Charges in, like, 3 days or something, but... who really cares, man? I got Reborn, that's good enough. Anyway, though, let's go on to the extra deck. So, I think we can move these out of the way. I'll put that back together later. Anyway, so there's also some weird choices in my extra deck. Like this. 1 Bryon, Actor, and an Ace Berry, which is actually good in Mermails. You discard any number of cards, and you target the same number of cards in the field, return those targets to the hand. You know, you trigger Atlantean effects, you trigger Gunday, you trigger all this shit, and in addition, you can also bounce like your Abyss Spheres and other dangerous opponent back row that could be a total bitch. And I should also mention that I'm pretty sure he's not on the ban list. If he is, though, I have a plan for that. I also have a plan for any of the other cards that could be on the ban list. I'll show you that later, though. 1 Duloran. I know Duloran isn't necessarily random Mermails, but you know, I tried him out, and he's not that bad, to be honest. He can bounce your Abyss Spheres, and then you can set him to keep getting combos, you know. He's not that bad, and he gets 500 attack for each card that was bounced until the end phase. So, you know, this guy can get over... What's an example? This guy can get over, annoying ass shit. He can get over, like, I don't know. The point is he can get over strong monsters. Okay, well, anyway. Next is one Trishula dragging the ice barrier. Now, I know for a fact that I did not, I'm pretty sure actually, that I did not see this guy on the thing, on the list at my local. And I remember when I had these three guys and Gungnir, which I took out because I realized I'm not going to need this guy. I realized that with Diva, I wasn't summoning these guys like at all. I'd have to have a really good field to get out just Brionac in general. I'd have to have like an Abyss Pike already on the field, and or a face down Abyss Sphere, in which I would special summon an Abyss Pike or an Abyss Turge, and I'd have to normal summon a Diva, which I could probably then get out Trishula, but then it would defeat the whole purpose of summoning Brionac or Dulauren. But when I made the switch to Undyne and Genex controller, I'm not even kidding. The first time that I tested that whole shablu out, I got out Trishula on like the next turn after I summoned Undyne. I'm not even kidding. I had frickin' Abyss Sphere, and I summoned a Linde from the deck. This was on DM, by the way. And then I normal summoned Genex controller, tuned that shit for Trishula, and you know, fuck that shit up, you know? This video is going to sound really weird, by the way. I have to remember not to watch this. It's getting pretty long, too. I might have to cut out some parts anyway. Okay, so anyway, I got one Leo, because he can easily be summoned with, like, Title and Genex controller. Sorry. And, you know, he's a big beater. He can't be targeted by your opponent's card effects, except during your main phase 2, so no Phoenix Chain during the battle phase. No fucking D prison, none of that shit. Unfortunately, he is subject to bottomless trap hole. Oh yeah, and no compulsory, so there's that. So this is the Synchro monsters, and now on to the Xyz monsters. I got one Abyss Gaios. You need Abyss Gaios because you need to negate effects and stuff that have less attack than Gaios. And most and like 8 out of 10 times you're gonna be encountering monsters that have less attack than Gaios. And the during either play's turn effect really adds versatility to this guy. And from what I've heard, he works like Valor. So yeah, that's also really good. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that his level 5 or higher monsters no attacking thing can also come in handy too. Like, it doesn't really come in handy all that much, but if you're fighting like I don't know, if you're fighting like what's a good example? If you're fighting like monarchs per se. Like, they just cannot touch this guy. Like, now that I've come to realize it, now that I've said this, they actually really can't touch this guy if he's got the materials. They try to chaos, bitch, just say detach and you negate fucking chaos, you know? And rise up, boom, detach, negate. And then you just run them over next turn, so yeah. Okay, anyway. One number 11, Big Eye. Obviously, Big Eye is the way to go in Mermails. He's a rank 7. You know, he can be easily summoned, and he can take control of an opponent's monster, but he can't attack that turn. But he's basically a more balanced version of Change of Heart. A lot of people thought he should be at 1 in the Dragon Ruler format. He did not go to 1, except in OCG. Okay, but anyway. One Mech Phantom Beast Draxack, you don't really need more than one. Because this guy is really versatile, he's really good. And, you know, you special summon 2 Mech Phantom Beast tokens. He can't be destroyed by card effects while you control any token, and you contribute a Mech Phantom Beast monster, which means he can tribute himself. So, your opponent's got skill drain, boom, bitch, I'm just gonna tribute my own Mech Phantom Beast Draxack, bitch, and you fucking pop skill drain or some other problematic card. That is if you know you can get over skill drain. But in which case, if you have like an MST or something, you'd probably pop skill drain with that first. I mean, one number 101 Silent Arc because he's good. I really don't need to say anything else. One Dweller, especially in Mermails, this guy can really pack a punch. I mean, he's really good in any rank 4 deck. He negates graveyard effects. You know, this guy stops Boojins. He stops fucking artifacts. He stops Dark Worlds. He stops, I know Dark Worlds technically aren't really that relevant this format, but, you know, at this local, they will be. He stops, TGs, which will also be relevant. Because I saw, like, 2 people running TGs. So, yeah. One Bahamut Shark, you know, you gotta get out your 2 Abyss Strites, which if they're destroyed since the graveyard, you special summon a Mermail monster. Sorry about that, guys. I had to cut because my parents just came home. So anyway, continuing on with the Xyz monsters, my extra deck. One Ghost Trick out card. You need to pop your opponent's face down cards. You know, because like if Marksman wasn't enough, you just go all out poppage with this guy. Really good rank 3. I was really lucky to pull in my Shadow Specters. He's first edition, mind you, so if I was ever thinking about selling him, $30, you know? That is as of right now, I think. One Me-equipped Anganier, because, you know, you gotta keep your monsters from being destroyed by battle or by card effects. He's really useful. Yeah, I was actually at, back in November when I went to a local, this Chaos Dragon user used this guy against me. And I honestly should have thought out what I was doing, because I activated Dark Hole while he had a Gores on his side of the field in this card. And man, he probably was thinking in his mind, God, this guy's stupid. And you know what? I probably wouldn't blame him. Like, now I probably would just not even think twice about what he said, because he would be right, technically. I mean, if you got freaking Gores and this guy on the field, you're not gonna wanna... I mean, they got a 2700 beater that they can potentially use to kill you next turn, which he actually did, what ended up happening to me, because it was being so stupid. And yeah, it just screwed me over. But yeah, he can be useful. He's also an 1800 beater, and he can protect himself from being destroyed. So yeah. And then there's Wind Up Zenmains. I know he's not really the best rank 3 anymore. Was he ever really that good, though? I mean, I always remember having a hard time getting over him, but that's because I didn't run, like, Solemn Warning or any of that shit. Like, because, like, now you just use, like, a Tiger King or something, and you can just kill him, you know? And I mean, he's not all too bad. I mean, if you need some kind of defense or something, if you want to like bypass Mirror Force or something, like you just know that your opponent has face down, but you're not ballsy enough to attack the other monsters. You just attack with him, and if your opponent tries to spring, you can just detach, and he will not be destroyed, and you get to pop a card at the end phase. Unfortunately, though, the popping is mandatory, so if your opponent doesn't control a card, then you have to pop one of your own cards, which is fucking bullshit, but it's the rules, unfortunately, so you have to do it. So anyway, now that we're done with this, we're on to the side deck, and I think you might notice that only my extract is sleeved. I'm getting some yellow card sleeves for my main and side deck. They're coming soon. They might be coming tomorrow, I don't know. Anyway, though, let's start with the monsters, my side deck. 1 Max C. He's really good this format because of the artifacts, obviously, and infirmities. You know, you send him from the hand of the graveyard, and you can potentially plus massively just by sending this one guy. I know people like running 2 Max C in the side deck. And I've seen a guy I've seen some people main this guy. You know what? Don't main this guy. He really should only be in the side deck, because not every deck special summons. Like, one could argue that, like, oh, Boojin's special summon because they have Harume. Well, I mean, if they run Vanity, you're probably not gonna. If they main deck Vanity, then you're probably not gonna want to run Max C. I mean, would you not? Would you want to? I mean, would you not? I mean, okay. Anyway, 2DD Crow, obviously, he's really good. Even against like the rogue decks, you know, like Fire Kings. I think they're rogue. I'm not really sure. All those other decks, you know, he's good against Dark Worlds. He's actually pretty good against artifacts, I guess. Because, actually, yeah, he is good. Because you chain this to Morale Tech or Bagel Tech. And this can also actually banish, Dionea targets. Traptrix Dionea targets. No matter which one it is, you know? It can banish a Mermail or a whole normal trap card to the target and plan the set. You know? Anyway, on to the spell cards. All 2 of them. And that's 2 Spell Shattering Arrow. I know I could have probably gone with like System Down against Yugiohs, but I don't think I'll be running Yugiohs here. I mean, I'll see Yugiohs here. And I'm only really running Spell Shattering Arrow because there's a Gravekeeper's player at this local, and I want to make absolute sure that I can take out the Necro Valleys and the Hidden Temples in Necro Valleys, because I don't want to have to deal with a frickin' Vanity, and I just don't want to be down that much in advantage. Anyway, for the traps, which is all 10 of them. 2 Mind Crush, one of the best side deck cards in the format. That your opponent searches a card, boom, you Mind Crush. I actually had a duel with a Prophecy player. I top decked 1 copy of his card, I said it, and then the guy activated Spellbook of Secrets. He searched Blue Boy, which spoke just in Prophecy, if any of you were wondering, and activated Mind Crush, declared Blue Boy, and no joke, he actually scooped. And I'm pretty sure that was because he had 3 Blue Boys in his hand. And that puts them at that would put Prophecies at a really big minus. I don't remember if Prophecies were ran at this local, but it's useful whether or not you're. Just don't side this against Dark Worlds, because that's the last thing you want to be doing. Mind crushing like Grapha or some shit. I don't know, if you're really ballsy, you could decide it just to get rid of fucking gates and stuff. I don't know though. That's usually a pretty ballsy move in my opinion. You can get rid of that with like MSTs or something. I don't know. Anyway, one DNA surgery. There's really not much I'm going to be able to do with this card. I mean, if I see prophecies, I'm going to want to side this. If I see like Boojins or something, I'm probably going to want to side this. If I see like any type specific deck, then I'm probably going to want to side this. Like, what's something I can think of? Like Firefist or something? Oh, I don't know. But, yeah, there's also like Gravekeepers, like I said before. Wait, wouldn't that do anything? I don't remember, but yeah, there's a lot of conditions where, like, I mean, I guess this could also work while there's Yugiohs. Sorry for the random cut. Anyway, let's keep going. I would side something different. I don't know, though. I'll keep DNA surgery just in case something arises where, like, I run into prophecies or something. Anyway, let's continue. One light imprisoning mirror. I would main two. No, not main. Sorry. I would side two, but I'm tight on side deck space. The thing about my side deck is it's built to counter as many of the decks that I would face at this local as possible. So I know. So like spell sides and spell shattering arrow. Take that for example, because like Gravekeepers, you know, you'd say like they're not really relevant in this format, but they are. They could be where I'm going. So I need to make like absolute sure that I'm siding something against every deck. You know. I would side one, but I would side one more, but I had to make space. One shower imprisoning mirror. It's the same case. I would side more than one, but you know, the damn space, you know. Okay, then two Imperial Iron Walls. You need to counter like that stupid ass shit like macro. I'm pretty sure it's counted as macro. Because like after they flip macro, and then you flip this, I'm pretty sure that Imperial Iron Wall will be the dominant card since it was activated last. You know, like normal. But then I'm pretty sure if you activate like a D prison or something, the monsters can still be banished. I'm not entirely sure about that. But please tell me in the comments if you know, because I would like to know this. One Black Horn of Heaven, and I know you're supposed to side two, but again, this is one of those cards where I would have sided another copy if I had more space. You know? It really sucks too, but you know, I guess I'm gonna have to make do. I mean, I have a Solemn Judgment and a Solemn Warning, so I guess Solemn Judgment kind of makes up for it, but you never know. And then finally, two Japanese okay, no, but yeah, really two Japanese debunks because I really had no other choice, and I had to find I found a debunk for like $12, but it still came out to $30 in the end. In total, because the shipping was $6. Yeah, that bullshit though. But yeah, debunk probably the best side deck card this format. I can, like, someone stated this in one of their videos, and I can probably agree with that because there's a lot of decks this card can counter. This deck counters artifacts. This deck counters Boojins. This deck counters Mermails. This card counters Infernities. This card because you know it counters their Stygians. You know, this counters fucking this thing counters you get the point. It counters a shit ton of graveyard and hand reliant decks. This card even counters the hand monsters, which are really popular in this format. I don't know why you wouldn't side this card. Unless you didn't know to side this card in the first place, which I guess that's kind of okay excuse, but if you're not size card and you're having trouble with, hands and stuff, this is your guy. These are your cards, I was up against this. Well, no, I'm not gonna go into too many stories. The battery life's running low. It's like half battery. So anyway, I've gotten my main deck, side deck, and extract out of the way. But I mentioned that there are a few cards in these decks that are banned and wouldn't normally allowed to be used. Brionac, Trishula, and Heavy Storm, Pot of Greed, Monster Reborn, and Solemn Judgment. However, I have found ways to work around this. If I find out that for some reason those cards end up on any of those cards end up on the ban list for whatever reason, then I have put together, I guess what I call a trade deck. Which basically I trade out certain banned cards for other cards that would also help my deck in ways if certain cards are banned, and so that my deck can be eligible for the tournament. I'm pretty sure it's allowed. I mean, I don't really see why it couldn't. Why it couldn't be. Anyway, but let's go over these. So, for this is 2 Aqua Spirit as the only main deck monsters. For these, I would take out Pot of Greed and Monster Reborn probably, if those were on there. So yeah, there's that. But normally you'd main Ox Spirit and Mermails, because this card helps you make your rank 7 play. Not your rank 7, makes your rank 4 plays. And that's especially important if you're trying to get out Bahamut Shark, I've set up some crazy plays with this card, boy, I tell ya. Made a lot of people rage quit with Mermails on my other file. And for spells, I have Book of Moon, which is a staple, and I would be thinking about getting rid of, I'm kind of starting to think that I might have put in more cards in this thing than I thought. But I guess I would put in Book of Moon. Well, actually, wait, here's the thing. I have a Starlight Road here, which I would take out for Solemn Judgment. But, which I would swap for Solemn Judgment. That is if Heavy Storm stays on the ban list. If it does not stay on the ban list, like if Heavy wasn't on the ban list, and Solemn wasn't either, I would not side this. I would not take this. I would not put this in, and instead I'd put in another copy of Salvage. I know this probably should have been another Tias or something, but I didn't want to spend like $7 on another ultra rare Tias. So yeah, the Book of Moon would be swap for Heavy Storm if Solemn Judgment was still in. That is, if Solemn Judgment was still in the game, or was not on that list. If both were on that list, this would be for Heavy and that would be for Solemn. This would be for Solemn if Heavy was on there, if Solemn was on the ban list but Heavy was not, which I don't see logic behind that, because inevitably, basically the way it works is if Solemn Judgment is going to be banned, then Heavy has to be banned too. I mean, does it not? Because you gotta have a way to counter broken, destroy all spell and trap cards on the field bullshit. Because seriously, a card like that is broken, And anyway, I have I did the same thing for Brionac and Trishula. Silent Honor, Arkham, Evolve All Chain are my options for this. I don't know which one I'd go with first. I guess that would be a tough call. Because I wouldn't really do anything specific, like, say, like, I would choose either one. If, like, Bionic or Trisla were on there. If they were both on, I'd put them both in. I think I'm probably would put in Silent on our arc just because I like having the outs, especially on monsters like JD. I forgot to mention Light Sworns are going to be relevant here. So, Laval Chain I like. I decided to put him in because, title. I've seen him being run in Mermails. I actually don't run him on my Mermail deck on DN that I have on my other account. I have Black Rose Dragon instead. So, yeah. And I have Duloran instead of Leviair. So, yeah, that's everything. That's my Mermail deck profile. And I'm going to be going to the locals with this deck. Hopefully I make top 8. I'll definitely tell you guys about this once I get back from this. So, yeah, I'll see you guys some other time, I guess. Take care.